Hey guys, it's Miss Liz. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to see you. I really miss Myrtle. It's been 3 weeks since we lost her and the house is far too quiet. And I really miss, like being able to come home for cuddles when I'm feeling sad and things like that. But she's in a better place and so we're happy for her. But yesterday I had a procedure done. I had a gastroscopy, which is where they put a camera inside your stomach and see what's going on. And so I thought I would share with you kind of like process and what results I do know, and hopefully this can help someone else out there, because I know I'm a researcher. So if I'm having a procedure done or I'm going somewhere new, like I like to hear it from other people's perspective first, so I know like what it's actually like. I am not AI, despite what the doctor joked the other day, because I was like coming up with all these smart comments and I knew this and I knew that. I'm a real person and I have real emotions, and I can tell you what it's actually like rather than what Google thinks it's like. So yeah, hop on board. Okay, so a little background. I am 26, 27 in 6 days. I love my birthday. And I have been struggling with digestive health from probably as young as 12 or 13. Most of the time it's been, things like I had too much gluten or too much soy, or, well, you guys have been there. You've followed the allergies and intolerances, and yeah, it's crazy. And to be honest, I still have some issues with like my lower gut health. Like certain foods that I eat just do not make me feel good, which I hate because I love food and I love carbs, and I want to eat what I want, but my body doesn't want me to eat what I want, So yeah, I've done so many diets and tried so many different things, but back in around May, I was seeing my GP once a week, and during that time I said to her, the reflux medication I'm on at the moment, omeprazole, is not really working for me anymore. It's kind of just stopped. So she said, okay, let me try you on something else, pantoprazole, but I would also like for you to get a gastroscopy done, also sometimes known as an endoscopy. I know quite a few people do have both a gastroscopy and a colonoscopy at the same time, but thankfully I was not one of them. I've heard you have to drink some blinking awful prep for the colonoscopy. It tastes like salty lemon or something. Ugh. Yeah, very thankful I didn't have to do that. And I got a letter a few weeks later saying I was like a semi-urgent priority, which was quite good because usually I'm like the lowest of the low priorities. But the symptoms I was experiencing were quite concerning. I was getting full after about 3 or 4 bites, and I mean, I would keep eating because, I know how much I need, sort of thing, and I would just work through it slowly. But about half an hour to an hour after that, I would feel really bloated and like I would have a lot of stomach pain, and in some instances, and I mean, this could be TMI, but you're here and possibly you're searching for exactly this, and you know, what are the symptoms, sort of thing. I was also burping up food about an hour after I ate it. So like I would burp, but an actual like chunk of food would come up. And it was not very nice. And so yeah, I got assigned a semi-urgent priority, and to be honest, I had no idea of the time frame. It was one of the few I'd not tried to push forward because, well, who wants a camera inside their digestive system? It's not exactly something you do for the fun of it. And then 2 weeks ago, I got a text saying, this is gastroenterology here. The doctor has referred you for procedure. Please call now to negotiate your appointment. And so I did, and it was an answering service, which cracked me up because the first time I tried ringing, this British robot lady comes on and says, that line is busy, please try again later. And there was no option for like leaving a message, so I did have to try again later, and I got through to the message thing and I left my details. And then a few hours later they called me back and they said, we've got a spot available on the 31st at 3 p.m. and I was like, yep, I'll take it. And so they said you need to be nil by mouth for 6 hours beforehand, and you might be there for up to 2 hours. So I said, yeah, that's fine. And I was supposed to be volunteering at the light party at my church, but the booklet said if you're having sedation, then you need to be driven home and you need to go home pretty much straight away. Which I didn't. I went to the mall first, but and so then I continued to eat normally up until the day before, and a couple of days beforehand I kind of started carb loading because I knew I wasn't allowed to eat from after dinner the night beforehand until the procedure, and of course my procedure was late afternoon, so that was nearly an entire day of not eating, which I didn't realize like how much time kind of eating takes up, or you know, sometimes you eat if you're bored, and that, you know, well, I went stir crazy, but I carb loaded a couple of days beforehand so that I would have enough to get me through without me going hypo because I'm pre-diabetic. And that seemed to work. I felt absolutely fine other than grumpy and nervous, and yeah, so that leads us to the night before last. Okay, so night before the procedure, I had kind of an early-ish dinner. I ate around 6:30? Yeah, 6:30. And in the meantime, while I was heating the dinner up, I think it was soup, I decided to mix up a banana loaf because we were having some friends over for games, and I wanted them to be able to have something nice, so I made that up, and I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to have a piece with them, so when it was cooked, I left it to cool for like 5 minutes, and then I cut myself a piece and my neighbor a piece because he loves fresh banana loaf, and I had mine, and then I figured, well, it's the night before, I can still have a cup of hot water. I just can't eat any food. So I had a cup of hot water, and they ate, and we all played games, and then in the morning I got up, and the instruction was to A, not take my pantoprazole because it could mask any GI symptoms because it coats the lining of the stomach. So that was the first instruction, and then B, to take all my other regular medications with a small sip of water, which, oh my god. I'm a bit of a gulper. Like, when I take my medicine in the morning, I like to have quite a lot of water so that I don't taste it. Some of them do have tastes. I remember I used to take iron pills. It was Grade C, and you know, like when you walk into a tire place, you can taste it? It tastes like that. So yeah, I like to drink quite a lot of water, and I couldn't, so I did it, but I wasn't happy about it. And then Mum had her breakfast and I went back to bed because I was like, I can watch you eat, but it's really hard not to break into the banana loaf, which was sitting right in front of me. So I went back to bed, and then I swear the morning had never ever gone so slow for ages. It was like 10 minutes had passed, but it felt like longer. And then I would look and I'd be disappointed, or I'd try and do things for half an hour, but then like it still wasn't near enough. I was so bored I even had a bath because I couldn't eat. And I thought, well, my muscles are all stiff and sore from not being able to drink water, so that might help a bit. And it did a little bit, but not much. And then my appointment was at 3, and we knew it was kind of a little bit further from home than, say, our usual appointments, and so we left at 2:15, or just after 2 actually, because Mum's a bit more practical than me. She kind of anticipated the traffic a bit better, and we got there at 2:42, and then we went to the wrong building. Oh my gosh. Which, it was not the most positive experience, I will admit, because I mean, I was nervous enough already, and you know, sometimes when you're nervous, you interrupt people. And so we got in the lift with this lady, which actually, we'd gotten in the lift and the doors were shutting, and she said, hey, I was calling out. And I said, well, I didn't hear you because I was in my own head. And Mum happened to mention what procedure I was having, and she's like, oh, you're in the wrong building. I'm like, but it says level 3. And she's like, yeah, level 3 of that building. And so we let the lift go up to the 3rd floor, and then we went back down. We walked out, and we thought she meant the building next door. So we went there, and they're like, oh yeah, no, you've got to go down that way, down that way, follow that lady, and then take the lift to the 3rd floor of that building. So that was embarrassing, but the people in the second wrong building were really, really nice to me and made me feel really safe. And when I did get out of the lift in the correct building, I said, am I in the right place now? Please tell me I'm in the right place now. And she's like, Elizabeth? And I'm like, yep. So that part went smoothly. Like, once I actually got to reception, they knew who I was. They got me to check my labels. They asked me for the first of about 20 times who I was, what my date of birth was, and what procedure I was there for. So, like, they're very thorough. You can't go to the wrong surgery, sort of thing. And then I sat down in the chair in the waiting room thinking, God, I would not mind if the rapture happened right now. Like, I wanted to be swallowed up. I did not want to do it, but I knew I had to because, you know, I've been struggling for so long with my health, and I just had to know what was going on. So when they called my name, I reluctantly followed them back, and Mum was allowed to come with me through the waiting room into the pre-admit room, and I was really grateful for that. So they sat me down, took my blood pressure, which was a little bit high, you know, white coat syndrome, and my heart rate, also a little bit high. And he's like, your heart rate is over 100. Is this excitement? I'm going to call it excitement. I'm like, mate, you have a weird definition of excitement, if that is excitement. I said, no. And he's like, I'm going to call it excitement. He's a really nice, positive guy. And then we went through another form, which I'd had to fill a form out that came with the letter, and then I had to scan it back to them. So they had a copy of that, and then they had a copy of like another form, and so we went through that, you know, what conditions do you have or have had, and are you allergic to any medication? And then the procedure was explained to me, and you know, how it worked, what it would show, risks, which there weren't many, and they're very rare, but they're obligated to tell me, so I listened and got more and more nervous. And he said, and once we give you the sedation, you'll pretty much just go off to La La Land, think happy thoughts, you know. And I didn't believe him. I thought, oh, well, I'm too heavy for the sedation to knock me out, but knock me out it did. And he said, and taste-wise, the anesthetic spray that they put in your throat, some people have compared it to spicy rotten bananas, and I'm like, well, one of the medications I used to take tasted like spicy rotten lettuce, so maybe that won't be too different. And then he left the room so that I could put the covering gown on, which he'd showed me how to do it, but I was really confused and I didn't know how to tie it up, and so he had to come in and like tie it up for me, and I'd had to loosen the shoulders because they were like button-up shoulders. I also took a couple of photos, you know, selfie, a silly selfie, and Mum took one of me in the chair. And then another nurse knocked on the door and said, you know, I'm ready to take you through now. So we all left the pre-admit room. I had these really cool funky socks on, which I got to keep. They're like blue with like pink sticky rubbery dots, you know, so you don't slip on the floor. A little bit big for me, but that was the smallest size they had. And so we got to the end of the corridor, and Mum went off to the right to the waiting room, and I went off to the left to the surgery room. And again, everyone was really nice. The lady that walked me into the room, we're having a laugh, and you know, it was like there wasn't about to be a procedure done, put it that way, you know. It was just so relaxed and calming. And then I got into the room. So I walked into the room, and there was a male nurse and my nurse with me, and a doctor, the doctor who was doing the procedure. He was a lovely man. His name was Naing. And he said, "Hi Liz, how are you today? And what procedure are you having?" Which I'd already been asked that about 4 or 5 times. And so I was like, come on guys. But I laid down on my back at first. They say to lay down on your back at first. And they attach a blood pressure cuff to your right arm and nasal prongs, which they look uncomfortable on like the medical shows, but they're actually quite comfortable. I was kind of disappointed when I got taken out. It's like you don't have to make an effort to breathe. The oxygen just comes in for you. And then after answering for about the 5th time who I was when I was born and what procedure I was having, they waited until I was ready to open my mouth, and then they sprayed the anesthetic spray, and my god, it did taste like spicy rotten bananas. And I was just like, I don't know what to do, I can't feel my throat, I'm like which they were laughing at, laughing with me rather. And I was like, I don't know how to swallow, so I was just like spitting you know, any extra out, and they were very kind and they got a tissue and wiped my mouth for me. And then the doctor goes, okay, turn onto your left side now. And I'm like, oh god, it's really happening, there's no going back now. And they put this mouth guard in for me, which it's not like the sports mouth guards, it's like this round white thing that they put in, and then you bite down on it, and there's a hole in the middle that, you know, can go down inside your throat. So the camera goes down, but it won't touch any of your teeth and stuff like that. And once that was in, he said, right, I'm putting the sedation in now. And I put it in, and I thought, I feel a bit dizzy. And I put my head off like to the side like this, got comfortable, then the next thing I remember, I'm being wheeled out. So it definitely did sedate me. It's called conscious sedation, but the medicine actually like does make you go to sleep. And I don't know, I think probably the movement of the bed is what wakes you up, but I was out to it. I didn't feel a thing. It was amazing. Yeah, then I woke up in recovery and I was like, this is nice. Once I was properly awake, they took my blood pressure again, and then the nurse rang the receptionist to say that I was out and doing well, and then she helped me to stand up and said, you know, just take the gown off and leave it on your bed, because like I still have my full clothing outfit on. Like, you didn't have to change into a hospital gown, you just had to put one over the top. And so I stood up and I was like, I'm sitting straight back down. So she came and helped me to stay up while I took that top layer off, and then I sat back down and she said, go and make you some tea now. And then once the tea was ready, she said, all right, come this way. And I was walking along the corridor going, I was just laughing at everything, which they didn't mind, they used to. And then I got to sit down in this lovely lazy boy, and I was given a club sandwich, triple part. One had like turkey and spinach, or turkey and lettuce, or some sort of salad green. Then the other outer side had ham and lettuce, and then the middle part had egg, which I left the middle part for last because I love egg sandwiches. And nice little Arnott's biscuit, you know, good quality. It was done through the public health system, but I was sent to a private hospital. I guess maybe because I was a bit more urgent, I don't know. And so I got given the most divine tea with like a teapot and a milk jug and a proper like cup and saucer. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And they said, sit here and enjoy your food, and we'll let your mother know she can come and see you. And
cover you.
We were laughing because, you know, the food is for the patient only, and they're like, we starve you beforehand, so we feed you after. You know, like you've earned your reward sort of thing. And so Mum had to just sit there and watch me eat, but it was fine. She enjoyed it, and I'd promised to buy her something to eat afterwards anyway. And then she came and took my lure out, which again, this vein was used. It's my lucky vein. And then she said, you're free to go home. So I stuffed my feet into my shoes because I didn't want to take the socks off, but I actually did end up taking them off about 10 minutes later because despite being stretchy shoes, they didn't properly fit with my sockened feet. And then we went to a nearby mall and bought a couple more stress balls and had some dinner. I'll just go and get the stress balls. So this first one I saw a while ago at Posty Plus, and I thought, oh, you know, that's weird, that's creepy. I didn't know the calming effects of stress balls and whatnot at that point, and I just thought it was weird. So I didn't get it. And then day before yesterday I went to Newmarket, and it showed that this particular farmer's, the Newmarket one, had this brand, and it was one of like, I think I could only see it at like Farmers and Crackerjack, and then Etsy stores and AliExpress. But I wanted the specific brand, and that was only available at Farmers and Crackerjack. And so I looked around the toy section for like probably close to half an hour. Like, I went around there 3 times, and then I went back again later just to check that I hadn't, you know, missed anything. And they said, well, this other store's got 5. And I said, well, I'm out that way tomorrow, so I will go and get one there. And it's called a stretch fat cat. So its head is movable too, but it stretches out. It's got like kinetic sand or something in it. And I mean, you can push it back to normal. It doesn't stand very well. It doesn't have very good balance. But you can squeeze it this way and stretch it and push it back and pull that up. It's really cool, and I don't seem to be reacting to it, so it mustn't be made from latex. So that's really cool, and I mean, I'm relaxed just doing it now. So that's the first thing, and unfortunately it was in the like damaged or lost stock, so there was only one, and I don't know where the others were. But when I told her that the other place had said they had 5, she was like, surely not. But yeah, that's our little cat. And then this one I'd seen the day before when I'd been at Newmarket, and it's also a stress ball, and it's this decision maker stress ball. So the options on it are no, sure, never, maybe, unsure, you bet, no way, why not, risky, go for it, and before you ask. I cannot read backwards properly. It was on the other side as well. And so it's black all over, and then you squeeze it and an answer will come up. So that one says yes. So last night we asked it if I was going to get married before I was 30, and it said no. Let's see, what could I ask it? I know it's just a fun little ball, but just it's relaxing to squeeze and funny to know the answers. Let's see, what could I ask? Am I going to be successful on YouTube? Go for it. I guess it's saying it's up to me. But yeah, we got that afterwards, and something's risky. And had some dinner, which was really, really nice. We shared a meat lovers pizza and some tiramisu, and I knew Mum needed some sugar, so we had helped both of us to feel better really quickly. And oh, it was just so good. And we had pizza for breakfast this morning. Of course, I'm harebrained, and I just remembered that I said I would share what results I knew, so I shall. I will not show you the pictures, but it says indication heartburn / reflux, so that was why I'd been referred. Informed consent was obtained after the risks and benefits were explained and alternatives outlined, medications administered, findings. Endoscope was inserted to the second part of the duodenum with no difficulty. So my esophagus, that's that part, which it actually goes down quite a long way. I did not realize how long it was until they showed me the diagram. Normal, Z line at 38 centimeters. Stomach, there was mild gastritis in the antrum, so like my stomach lining is inflamed, and mild duodenitis in the first part. So biopsies were taken from the gastric body, the antrum, and the duodenum. Conclusions: gastritis and duodenitis. Follow up, await histology results, so that can take up to 2 weeks for the biopsy results. They also did a swab to test for the H. pylori bacteria. So if that comes back positive, then I have to have very strong antibiotics. If it comes back negative, then they suggested that I get an ultrasound to see if I have gallstones. I hope not. Oh god, I hope not. So that is what I know. And thank you if you have made it this far, and I hope that this has been of some entertainment or help to you, and I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. One of the side effects of that is bowel problems. Back in May, when I was seeing my doctor every week, the GP, supposedly I was so, but I think endoscopy can be either end. Because it's an endoscope, endo meaning inside, scope meaning camera on a stick. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention in high school. No, I did, but some things still escape me. The person you were trying to call is not available. Please try it. But the booklet said if you're going... the booklet said if you're having sedation, don't. Not creepy at all. I remember I used to take iron pills and it smelled and once I woke up after, I thought stress toys were weird at the time. And then the other half, and then the ultrasound